And now it's time for Mob Talk Radio with your host, Jeff Canarsie.
Oh, look, it's the guy that never shows his fucking face. If you guys can hear me, do me a solid. Press the number 1, please. Right now, everybody's grabbing a barf bag going, oh my God, he's showing his fucking face. All right, so you guys can hear me. For those of you that never seen me, this is what I look like. So put me on the back of a milk carton. The sound quality may not be that great, guys. So I apologize for that. I just didn't have time to set up my mic. I'm going to go through the chat, then I'm going to get into something, and then we'll open it up to just some mob talk, stuff like that. Frank, how you doing? Mike F., what's going on? Glad Tommy Stiggs sent you over here. Let's see. Who else do we got? Harry. Silo Ren, how you doing, buddy? Chris Gorky, how are you? Chris, I'm going to drop the link for you in a minute. Let's see. Devil Salerno, how are you? Grambino, what's shaking? Mozzarella Boss, how you doing? Do me a favor. Anybody that's got a wrench, if anybody comes in here and starts spouting off, just throw them out. Yeah. Well, it's funny you should bring this up, because I'm going to talk about something that has to do with that, because people like to lie. And so I'm going to get right into it. Yeah, I got tattoos everywhere. Earlier today, somebody did a show where they allowed people to come on and tell one lie after another lie, after another lie, after another lie. And one of the things that you'll never see me do on my show, hey, Mike, how are you? Hey, Nick, is I will never put anybody on my show to come on and say horrible things about somebody else without proof. I don't do it. I have class and I run my show professionally. Other people don't like to do that. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but not really about him. I don't think I have anything to say about him at this point that hasn't been said by everybody else. However, number one, I am not a pervert. And I'm sick of people saying that. I'm not a pedophile. Never been convicted of nothing like that. So please stop putting people on your show that say shit like that. That's number one. Number two, there's a person named Joe Batters who went on this show today and just lied, and just nonstop. First of all, he brought up a guy by the name of Jared Ham. All right. First of all, I don't really even know Jared Ham. I think I met him twice my whole entire life. He's been stalking me for a decade. So anything that this guy has to say is sort of bullshit. And just to sort of give you a capture of what I'm talking about, let me just show you something. Hold on one second, guys. Do you see that? Okay, that is some homeless guy sitting in my neighborhood. Seems like Mob Talk Radio is falling on hard times. Photo snapped outside of a homeless shelter. Well, that's not a homeless shelter. It's actually a youth hostel in Manhattan. It's in my neighborhood, but this is what I deal with. And you notice at the top of the screen, who is tagged in it? Jared Ham. This was from a few years ago. All right. Now I'm going to show you this, because I'm sick of this shit. See that? Doesn't surprise me. Hopefully we can get a clearer photo. Down here at the bottom, maybe took 5 years. I have been stalked for almost a decade by this individual. He claims to know me. He doesn't. All right. And so one of the other things is that I have had to repeatedly over the years warn him to leave me alone. They took pictures in my neighborhood. This is the kind of people you deal with on fucking YouTube. So this guy, Joe Batter, seemed to know everything about me, which 90% of everything he said was not fucking true. But he talked like Jared Ham was some sort of normal human being. So I want to say a year ago, I got Jared Ham's phone number from somebody else and I called him, and I'm about to play you how mentally sound this individual is. You ready? You want to hear this? Here we go. Let's see how normal this human being is. Hold on. It might start to play with. Oh, hold on, guys. All right. So what you're going to hear is a phone call. All right. And the reason why I'm showing you this is to show you that this guy is an absolute fucking maniac. And there's something mentally unstable with this motherfucker. Hold on a second. All right. Pause that. For some reason, it won't let me. Why can't I share? Here we go. Now, you guys let me know that you can hear this, okay? I'm going to turn it up.
So when you going to stop lying, you prick?
What?
When you going to stop lying and making fake fucking group pages? When you going to stop this nonsense? You're like a stalker.
Never stopping. I'm going to keep going forever and ever.
Yeah, what's your reasoning?
What?
What is your reasoning?
Oh, I don't really have a reason.
You think you're not gonna like? You think people give a shit? Nobody believes what you're saying.
Man, how many fake profiles do you have?
Well, actually, I only have one Facebook profile. Honest to God, I would tell you if I had multiples.
You got like 700.
Where are you getting that from?
Dude, Chris Dorky? Come on, man.
Who?
Fucking Chris Dorky.
I don't
God
even
damn it.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, man. I'm a fucking beat your ass.
You're a
What the fuck?
you're a
Fucking comedy.
you're a
I'll beat your ass.
you're a
I'm down to the chicken feet.
stalker. Yeah.
So you see my point. He's a fucking nut job. Now, if we go back, I'll play it again. I want you guys to listen to something. He says Chris Gorky. Now, he believed I was faking that I was a human being named Chris Gorky. But if you guys look, Chris Gorky is in my chat. I'll play this one more time.
Hey, this is Jeff Canarsie from Mob Talk.
Oop, that's the wrong one, guys. Sorry.
Hello?
So when you going to stop lying, you prick?
What?
When you going to stop lying and making fake fucking group pages? When you going to stop this nonsense? You're like a stalker.
Never stopping. I'm going to keep going forever and ever.
Yeah, what's your reasoning?
What?
What is your reasoning?
Oh, I don't really have a reason.
He didn't have a reason to stalk me and harass me.
You think you're not gonna like? You think people give a shit? Nobody believes what you're saying.
Man, how many fake profiles do you have?
Well, actually, I only have one Facebook profile. Honest to God, I would tell you if I had multiples.
You got like 700.
Where are you getting that from?
Dude, Chris Dorky? Come on.
Okay, he just mentioned Chris Gorky. He thinks I'm Chris Gorky.
Come on, man.
Who?
Fucking Chris Dorky.
I don't
God
even
damn it.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, man. I'm a fucking beat your ass.
You're a
What the fuck?
you're a
Fucking comedy.
you're a
I'll beat your ass.
you're a
I'm down to the chicken feet.
stalker. Yeah.
So to make that even more interesting, he was sending bestiality videos to Chris Casparosa. Proof. He was sending bestiality photos to Chris Casparosa. That is the guy who you are going to accept is telling the truth. Oh, but I know what you're all going to say. But didn't somebody else today say I made up something about child porn being sent? Oh, I come with receipts, my friend. Here we go. Let me pull up the right thing. Now, the reason why I originally brought this up was because Jane Perry is Renu Olmstead, who was calling me a pedophile and a rapist in the Discord that was run by MRE and NB at some point. Do I hold them accountable for what was said? No. But the fact is, this Jane Perry character who goes by Renu Olmstead was in that chat. Okay? Now, this Renu Olmstead, my lawyer talked to on the phone. So it's not NB. I never said it was. Okay? So, since people say I made up child porn, I want somebody to explain this to me. All right. Hold on one second. Okay, on the bottom it says, do you know who this Renu Olmstead is that runs the Elvis blank page? That's a page that they invented about me saying that I was a pedophile, a rapist, and all this other stuff. And this person who was emailing thought that they were related to A-Light. So I said, funny story. She was a member of Mob Talk Radio, and she kept asking me questions about John A-Light. I told her I wasn't going to answer any of those questions. She threatened to expose me, and I kindly told her to please go fuck herself. Haven't talked to her since. My lawyers are in that group, and we're screenshotting away. Now, this person asked me in the email, do I know about this Renu Olmstead? And there's a reason why she asked that question. You ready for this? Here we go. Because remember, I made up everything about child porn. That's what I do because I'm a pervert. I just make shit up. Okay. Look at Friday, December 4th, 2020, 9:30. For a long time, I thought she was a minion of yours. Then I thought she was just obsessed and she could never really answer why she's so obsessed with you. But yesterday she sent me a message and said, you should put together a link tree like this for yourself. And gave me a link tree, which I went to see. What the fuck was she talking about? And the link tree was to all dark pedophile shit. I took a picture of it all. And I thought, are you seriously that stupid? Up at the top, you see my response. Oh my God, that's fucking sick. So, I did not make up anything about the pedophile shit. I have a dozen emails like the one you're fucking looking at right now. Bottom line. I never made it up. I blocked the person's email address because I don't want them attacked. But here's the bottom line right here. She sent a link tree, and I went to see what the fuck she was talking about. And it was all dark pedophile shit. So don't ever fucking say again that I invented that and made that up. That's it. Now we're going to bring on Chris Gorky because I'm going to let him tell you a little story. MRE was indirectly calling you a pedophile. He didn't block Jane Perry. Well, listen, I don't know. I honestly didn't listen to much of his show. I really honestly didn't. I don't care what he has to say. I really don't. He's not saying it to me. He's saying it with 5 other people. I don't care. That's his choice. There's a time and a place for fucking everything. But once again, I don't lie. I tell the truth. And so, Chris, I'm going to drop the link for you. That's a great question, Jamie. Where do you find the time to bring on 5 people who all lie about you? They just got embarrassed because they put a fucking... Oh, wait, hold on. Before I put Chris on, there's one other thing I've got to show you guys. You guys, he said, Joe Batters said that I have nothing but gangsters on my walls. Okay, so hold on one second. We're going to prove that that's not true. And then I'm done. Ready? Here we go.
Where's all the gangster stuff on my wall? Where's all the gangster stuff? Big mouths like saying I have nothing but gangster stuff on my walls. Where's my gangster stuff? Seriously, where is my fucking gangster stuff? I'd like to know, you lying fuck.
There you go. Once again, they just say whatever they want with no proof, and everybody buys it because nobody has a fucking brain. Don't ever fucking call me a pedophile again. That's the only thing I'm ever going to say. Don't even say I'm a pervert or allow people to say that. Because if you're going to allow people to say that shit about me when you know it's not true, I'm going to let people come on my show and imagine this shit they're going to say about you. Be a fucking adult. It's like nobody can fucking do that. And I'm over it. You want to call me a pedophile, come to New York and do it. Here's my fucking face. Come over here and say it to me and watch what I fucking do to you. It's not a threat. It's a goddamn certifiable promise. You're not going to label me a pedophile. You're not. And you're not going to label me a pervert. I'm telling you, I'm not going to tolerate it. That's it. That's all I got to say. Now, the rest of the shit I can say, I'm going to wait because I will have more to say. All right, Christopher.
What's up?
I got a little.
You gotta come on live more like this, showing your face. You're good, man. You got a knack for this.
No, I just listen. First of all, for people in the chat, this is Chris Gorky. Now, we didn't know each other.
No.
So when Jared Ham started screaming, "Oh, Chris Gorky," I said, "Who the fuck is Chris Gorky? I don't know nobody named Chris Gorky, but you're the infamous Chris Gorky." So
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Explain to them your perspective. We didn't talk really about anything, but you actually had a conversation with this guy.
Yeah.
So maybe you can give them a little validity towards sort of what the whole thing is.
Yeah, no problem. So here's what happened. I'll try to be not too long-winded about this. I started listening to Mob Talk Radio when he was on YouTube. Never spoke a word to Jeff, never emailed him, nothing. I wasn't on social media. I didn't have a Facebook account. To ask Jeff questions on his show, you had to have a Facebook account, Q&A and go. That's what he does. So I created a Facebook account, and there weren't a lot of posts. It was just me and like one friend. That was it. So I'm home after work, listening to Mob Talk Radio. I'm half asleep, and Jeff calls this Jared Ham that you just heard. And I'm half asleep, and I hear my name being fucking screamed over the goddamn TV. I'm like, what the fuck? So I emailed Jeff after the show. I said, listen, obviously, you know that guy's lying. I'm a real person. This is who I am. And I got Jared Ham's phone number, and I just had a little talk with him. And I wasn't screaming, yelling at him, but I'm like, what's the issue with Jeff, with you and Jeff? And he was just going on and on. He didn't have a reason why he was attacking you. He's just obsessed with you to try to prove you're lying, which you aren't. And I mean, that was it. I said, well, bud, look at, remember one thing. If a person lies about something once, they could lie about a lot of things. And we just proved right there that this guy was lying. So earlier today, as Jeff explained, this Joe Batters was on MRE's show. Okay. And he was going on and on about how this Jared Ham came on to, I guess he spoke to Jared Ham, or he's on other shows, and Jared Ham was saying all this stuff about Jeff, how he knew him.
Well, the last time he trashed me, I know he talked to him because he was regurgitating the same shit Jared Ham had said. That's how I know he talked to him.
And trying to say Jeff is lying about this, lying about that. And he was trying to say this Jared Ham's this level-headed guy. He's genuine. He's just a normal guy, like doesn't lose his cool or anything. Well, look what you just fucking heard. I mean, people say bring receipts. We just brought the receipts. We just proved the guy was lying right there. I mean, here I am. I'm a real person. The guy was lying. What people do when they don't like each other, I don't know why they have to lie and make stuff up. But you just heard Jared Ham completely lie, accuse Jeff of being me, making fake profiles. Wasn't true. Never knew Jeff in my life prior to that. Continue to listen to the show. Got to know Jeff. And yeah, we're friends now. But it was just a lie. And it was just, so just keep that in mind. I mean, listen, and a lot of things that guy said about Jeff not knowing Philly guys and this and that, that's also a lie. And it wasn't just like going into a restaurant and saying hi and bumping into the guy and shaking his hand like Phil. He genuinely knows the guy. He genuinely helped him out big time in a pinch. You know, he legitimately knows these guys. I seen it with my own eyes. We did other lives. I met Jeff in Philly. Crazy night. I've seen it firsthand. Certain people come up to Jeff. Hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while.
Tell him what we did. I won't say a word. Tell him who was there.
Joey Merlino. I mean, listen, these people, now people will say I'm lying, just sticking up for you. But listen, for the people that are going to question this, we already proved what their side was lying about something. Yeah. This Joe Batters. Okay. I meet Jeff in Philly. We go out to dinner. He's with another buddy too. We go to dinner. Then we go to the whatever bar/social.
Tell him who we went to dinner with.
What the fuck? The lawyer guy? What the hell's his name? Elio. Elio.
Okay, good. So we got all the names out there so people can ask.
We went to dinner with Elio Forcina. Okay. Yep. After dinner, we went, I'm not going to mention where we went, but we went to this other place where, you know, certain people that they say Jeff doesn't know go where they went. Apparently Joey Merlino was in town for something. Halfway through the night, Joey Merlino comes in with a big party, an entourage, his wife, his children, whatever. They're having a good time talking. And I actually saw Joe, as Jeff was going to the bathroom, Joey Merlino approached Jeff, you know, kind of like, hey, how you doing? Gave him a kiss on the cheek and all. You even came back and said, Joey just slobbered all over my fucking cheek. But I don't know why it's such a big deal. These people,
they're normal people to me. They're normal.
And me too. You know, I don't, you know, but it's just a lot of lies.
I know Angel Gotti. Does that mean I know John Gotti? No,
yeah, right. I didn't, but it's just this YouTube drama shit is so ridiculous, you know. And you texted me, and then I watched some of the stuff on MRE. And listen, Joe Batters, he's friends with this Jane Perry. Apparently, he's just probably sticking up for his friend, just like anybody would. But he's straight up lying about. I mean, he's straight up lying. He was proved wrong. We just proved him wrong with this Jarrett Ham story. So, I mean, we brought the receipts. I don't know what else there is to say.
No, it just it gets to the point where it's like, how much is enough? You don't like what I have to say about something, so be it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'll give you a good reference point. There's a lot of people that make accusations about FBS, right?
Right.
There's people that make accusations against Lee Cole or Angel or Angela but do I say scream? Do I scream, show me proof, show me proof, show me? No, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And so when things happen, and first of all, I never said publicly who was behind the memes.
Right. No, you didn't.
I never said that. And I also said within 72 hours, things would start to happen. I never said I was coming online and revealing anything.
Right.
My lawyers are handling that.
Right.
But I will say this. There's another content creator who was telling everybody and calling people saying that she did it. Why is nobody pressing him for his proof?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that's about, but yeah, I don't know. It's a click. I mean, this shit's worse than fucking like 8th grade fucking junior high, you know? I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. So, and then that Joe Batters was saying that, you know, you did a YouTube live because you're trying to get you're not getting that many paid subscribers, so you're trying to get that into the YouTube thing.
First of all, where do I live?
New York.
But where in New York?
Well, you live
Manhattan, right?
Yeah, Manhattan. I didn't know how specific you wanted me to be. What's that?
Think that rent's cheap?
No, not at all. Fuck no. Oh, yeah, no. God, no.
So do these people realize that, like, I have a paid platform? Like, I don't need YouTube. I could never do this again, and I would still make good money.
No, I mean, I think they realize it, but don't want to admit it. I mean, that's another thing that Jarrett Ham was trying to say, that you don't make any money. When I spoke to him on the phone that one time, he doesn't make any money, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you know, and the thing is, like, here's the thing. You know, I don't know what your life was like in high school or what your life was like 20 years ago. Everybody in life goes through ups and downs, you know.
I was a criminal.
Yeah, I mean,
I was a bum. I admit that. I freely admit that.
Yeah, like everybody goes through ups and downs in their life. Not everybody lights the world on fire. But why is it hard to believe that if someone maybe not doing well 15, 20 years ago, that they could be doing well now? You know, like things happen. You know, I mean, there's a point in life. I mean, I always worked and had a job, but I never thought I was going to be making decent money. And now I'm finally making decent money. But
well, and
apparently,
apparently you can't change your mind and grow up and like different things.
Yeah, but yeah, and this is what I mean when people don't like each other. They don't have to embellish. If someone doesn't like you for you, okay, fine. Shit happens. Guys don't like each other sometimes. People have beefs. But there's no need to embellish. You know what I mean? I mean, there's times I said I don't like people because of A, B, and C. Not any lies. Like this guy has a big ego. This guy, the way he carries himself kind of turns me off. No lies. Just you don't have to embellish. You don't like someone. You don't like someone.
You don't like
but these guys.
You don't like me. But if I'm not. Oh, and by the way, Guardian of the Night is not me. That is not me. I don't even know who it is. I don't even know who that is. I really don't. And I will say this. That's why I brought up the Jane Perry stuff at the beginning of this show.
Yeah.
Because in his video, he used my community post. That doesn't match up timelines because the stuff that happened in the what do you call it? The
Discord chat.
The stuff that happened in the Discord was way after the pedophile stuff, but the same people that did the pedophile stuff were in the Discord. That was not NB. I've said that till I was blue in the face. That's not NB. And I won't let her be accused of something that she didn't do. You follow me? I'm not that kind of asshole.
Yeah, no, I got you.
And if MRE got upset because he didn't understand why I put him in the video, it was just because I needed someone to verify that in that Discord, there were ugly things being said.
Right.
Because when I say, oh, in that Discord, they said awful things, they could all say, oh, that's not true. Because that's all they ever do is say, oh, that's not true.
Yeah.
But I only used a video of him to show that, yes, he was saying, yeah, people were saying awful shit. It was horrible. That's the reason why I did it.
And when someone's making these crazy accusations going over line, like with the pedophile stuff, and I mean, my God, that's not drama. Anybody has a right to respond to such disgusting accusations,
Right. And so the reaction to that is to bring on 3 people who trash me and lie about me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get upset when other people do it to you, but you do it to everybody else. That's what I have an issue with, the hypocrisy of that.
Yeah, there's hypocrisy. I mean, I will say, like, from what I listen to, I will say, in fairness, and MRE doesn't know me, he'll probably be like, who the fuck's this guy? But in fairness, MRE, when people were apparently making comments in their chat, calling you a pedophile, MRE was saying, listen, stop. He's not a pedophile. You have no proof for that. I'm not going to slander the guy. So he was at least being fair. That Joe Batters got him a little revved up, but for the most part, he was being at least trying to be fair about it.
Right, but you let a guy come on there and say shit and don't say, well, wait a minute. You're saying this, but what's your proof?
Yeah, they want proof from you, but not him.
Right. So let me go ahead and bring on everybody that doesn't like MRE and let's see what they say. Because I guarantee you that's not going to be a fun show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I don't do that to people. It's up in me to do it.
I mean, hopefully you could die out after this,
Well, no, there is, and there is going to be nothing after this, but because I'm not going to do this kind of stuff, but call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I have issue with. I can understand his perspective on certain things I really can't, and I really don't give a fuck about. I'm just being honest.
Right. It is what it is.
But at the end,
I mean, years ago, I commented, I don't know where the fuck it was. I think it was on some YouTube or some Facebook thing. You had a post, and I made a comment, and this fucking Jane Perry DM'd me trying to get me to attack you. Did you see Elvis's impersonations and stuff? So, I mean, for this Joe Batters, and, he's friends with Jane Perry, great. But don't act like she's not blameless in this, that she's blameless in this. because I could tell you she straight up came at me to try to attack you.
I've got messages. I've got all kinds of stuff on that crap, but it was just the point of I was telling the truth. They're saying I made it all up.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. And
you showed a lot of proof today. I mean, listen, people talk about receipts. You showed like 2-3 receipts today. I'm a receipt. You showed a receipt with the emails with Casperosa. You showed another receipt. I mean, you showed the text messages. You showed the pictures. I mean, these people, I mean, they got caught lying through their teeth right now.
Yeah, but that's not how it'll play out. What they'll do now is they'll take this video and make fun of the way I look, because that's what they do. But that's okay. Fuck them. I don't care. I'm not going to fight publicly about this shit anymore. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if people don't like what I'm doing about certain things or not, but there's a method to my madness and a reason why I'm doing things the way I'm doing it. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're entitled to handle that however you want, but I think we brought the receipts tonight.
Yeah, I will answer this though. Hold on a second. MRE and NB was there with Jane Perry. Well, you know what? I can't prove that. And I'm not going to, unless somebody shows me a video, I'm not going to just blame people. I can't do it because I know what it's. I mean, hello, I'm being basically labeled a pedophile now. So it's like, he's a pervert. He's got mob guys hanging it. I don't have
that's what this guy said, this Joe Batters. He said he's a pervert. And he goes, by what I mean by a pervert is that he has like these monster figures in his house that he collects. I'm like, that makes somebody pervert? I loved Anne-Marie's response. Anne-Marie was like, well, I collect goofy things too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is a guy that also, you know what? I'm not even going to say this because I can't certifiably prove it, but it is what it is. I mean, listen, I'm not for everybody and that's fine, but I'm going to defend myself. And I only brought you on really because you could testify to Jared Ham because you had interactions with him. And if people want to platform people that are going to lie just to try to get at me, that tells me more about you. Because I don't believe for 1 second that nobody knew anybody there. I don't believe that for 1 second. But that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
You guys want to talk about some mob stuff?
I got to turn these comments on. I forget to hit the comments.
You know what? I for the most part, some people have been douchey, but for the most part, everybody's just kind of like, they don't really give a shit. Yeah.
Who would? First of all, who could keep up with this fucking shit? I mean, people see how ridiculous this is. I mean, you had a state, we had a state, and no one, we don't want to keep any kind of drama going. But
I don't want any part of it.
But when people are just outright lying with disgusting lies, people have a right to defend themselves a little,
Well, yeah, and it's just I would not allow anybody to come. If somebody came onto the show right now and says, "Well, I'm going to start saying awful shit about NB," they'd be off my show immediately. If they started saying shit about MRE or FBS or any of these people, I'd throw them off. I just don't deal with that.
You say it all the time. If anybody starts talking about any content creators, kick them out.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't have any time for that sort of shit. I just don't. I just don't. And there's no bullshit with me, and it's straight up and down the line. And if anybody had an issue with me, guess what? I have an email. I have a phone number. It's that simple.
That's another thing people don't do. They don't handle shit.
Of course not. They want to. Of course not. Of course not. And then they don't want to tell the truth. And I can appreciate if it's accurate that he did say don't say he's not a pedophile. It's not proven. Blah 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 blah. Well, I appreciate that. But the second that people started saying that shit, I'd have thrown him out of my room.
I like some of these comments. Jeff, do you think Suge Knight was more feared in the 90s than the mob?
Oh, that's fantastic. Where is that? Oh, that's down here?
Palm Tree, you got it.
Wow. Yeah. Well, in LA
over here, at least,
In LA, yes.
And then Jimmy the Jen, Nicky Scarfo was here, man.
90s Philadelphia could have given him a run for his money, I bet.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy. The Wild West, man. That was nuts.
I try not to because I don't want to make people sick.
You're fine.
No, I don't do it because I know what they're going to do tomorrow. You know? Let's see. If Nicky Scarfo was here right now and saw what goes on YouTube-wise. Oh, my God. Can you imagine that?
We'd all be dead.
Nicky would get on his horse and go kill somebody.
I was laughing the other day about, I think the last live where you talked about his, where he's in that hearing or whatever, and he just took the fifth a million times, but
whatever.
You can see his fucking lips twitching.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So fucking mad.
We're getting some. Okay, so let's see.
Gotti 96 without question, Carlos.
Oh, this is my buddy Carlos. Gotti 96 or Gotti 2018? Gotti 96. I think.
Yeah,
so.
all the way. What are they
marching off your arm cast? No, I didn't. Headless Horseman. Nicky would have been a good Headless Horseman. If Gas Pipe Castro saw these YouTubers, he would not be happy. No, I don't think he would be either. And Baba Yaga would be correct.
Oh, God.
The show today that it could have been somebody pretending to be Jane Perry, so he's not going to block her. No, I mean,
he said there was 3 Jane Perrys on there.
Because you know how many times I see myself in people's chats that I wouldn't be caught dead in half the time?
Yeah.
So it's like people make fake shit.
Chris the Cop is good.
Did you hear they're making Heat too?
How about Chris the Cop? What's more corrupt?
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know. We should be asking you that, Chris the Cop.
Yeah, that's a toss-up. Well,
who gets away with more?
Oh, federal government, I'd say, man. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the old joke, what's the only difference between the mafia and the federal government? You remember that joke?
Mm-hmm.
The one's organized.
Scarfo is the Lone Ranger? Who would be if Scarfo was the Lone Ranger, who would be Tonto?
Leonetti. With his fucking raccoon wig.
Yeah. Home Depot would be sold out of pipe. Okay. Much love from Texas. Well, much love back to Texas. He meant Jane Perry in the Discord. Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch his show and I won't. People just sent me video clips. That was enough. I remember when people used to belittle you for starting the mob genre podcast. Yeah, well, listen, anybody can do what I do. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't. You just got to know what you're talking about, be a little entertaining. You shouldn't have a face like a gerbil, but whatever, it works for me,
I agree, Chris the Cop.
All right, here you go, Chris. This is a good one. Who's more corrupt, Stephen Caracappa or Louis Ippolito with the feds?
Oh, God. I mean, Caracappa and Ippolito were pretty damn corrupt. I mean, they were corrupt in one aspect of, working for Scarfo, but the feds are corrupt on multiple levels.
You know what cracks me up about that whole entire thing? Is
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Well, it's Louis Ippolito. First of all, Stephen Caracappa moves to Las Vegas to get away from New York. Thinks, you know what? I'm going to do a little security work on the side, retire. Louis Ippolito moves out there saying, yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. Can you imagine the look on his goddamn face when Stephen Caracappa turns on the TV and sees Louis Ippolito and Sally Jesse Raphael holding that book up? He must have shit. Why didn't he just get his gun and go right over there and kill him then? That was the end of it. Can you imagine the look on his face?
Oh, Jesus. Why would he think that's a good strategy to go on that show? What was he thinking?
I think some people want notoriety. He wanted to be in the limelight. He was out of the limelight. I mean, that's the only thing I could think.
God damn.
But Jimmy Heidel's fucking mother is on TV watching going, that's the guy who came and grabbed my phone. Unbelievable. Ron Previty.
There you go.
Carlos says they were both corrupt, but Ippolito was a dummy. He absolutely was. Ron Previty for Tonto. Ron Previty looks like he ate 5 Tontos.
You know what I'm surprised about? Like how mentioning how New York City is so expensive to live, especially Manhattan.
Yeah.
So, like with this Chris the cop, you know what the starting salary is for a New York cop today? It's like 40 some thousand. How does a guy live off 40 some? That's what I saw.
You know,
I mean, they go up eventually.
Garbage man here is
50,000
north 70.
That's crazy. I'd rather be a garbage man
No, you wouldn't.
than a cop for
Well,
$30,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to be a garbage man once and I almost had a heart attack.
I did too, believe it or not. I fell off the back of the truck my first day.
Dude, you know how big? Listen, I'm out of shape, man. I'm a little heavy. This is the middle of the fucking summer. I'm on the back of the truck. These guys are fucking going so fast. These skinny young kids. I'm like, holy shit. I thought I was going to have a heat stroke. I said, I'm done.
No, it was my first day on the job. I was out of shape too. And I'm standing on the back because there was no room to sit in the front. The guy, like, garbage goes in, can goes to the left. And I grab the thing, the handle. I go to step up. He floors it. And I'm like on the back of the truck doing that. And the next thing you know, bada bing, that's it. MCL sprained. I was done. That was enough for me.
That's great.
I wish I could tell a raccoon story. I don't have time to do it tonight because we're only going to go on for like another 20 minutes, about an hour.
That raccoon story was the funniest one, though.
You know what I got to do? I got to find on the radio show. I'll drop the link just so people know. I got to find where I recorded that and just upload that story. Or I should just compile all of my father's stories together. You know?
Yeah, that would be pretty fun.
Also said my father died of AIDS. So, you know.
Oh, God.
He died of cancer, and he was a war hero. It's like, meanwhile,
yeah,
jumped off the roof of his house to avoid Vietnam.
Really,
you know, but it. And listen, guys that are listening to the show, like, this is not normally how I do things, but I'm going to defend myself when somebody lies. Not that it matters, because everybody here could think I was like the biggest fraud, whatever they wanted in their life. Really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Because I ain't a gangster. I've never said I was, never pretended to be. I'm just me. I'm nobody special. I just know the mob genre, and that's what I talk about, the history. That's it.
JJ Fedora, I wonder if he's up from around Scranton or Pittston. You see what he commented?
All right, so you want to talk about Big Billy's book, JJ? So
talk about that.
What
That's
I can tell
really interesting, man.
What I can tell you is he's going to refute a lot of the things that Frank Sheeran said, and that the book is going to come out in July, I believe.
Yeah, like July 11th, something like that.
Yeah,
somewhere like second week, sometimes second week of July.
It's going to be an interesting read for sure.
It's going to be interesting because The Irishman's dying out, but it was such a big built-up story that now you're going to have a guy come out. Now you're going to have a guy come out who a lot of people probably don't know if they're not from around this area, and very, very reliable, credible guy who's going to, you know, rip to shreds some of the shit Frank Sheeran said, and people are going to be like, wait a second, what's this now? You know?
So the book, Rebecca, is about Billy D'Elia, who took over the Buffalino crime family after Russell Buffalino kind of retired and then died. That's what the book is going to be about. And it's going to be about his life with Russell. And it's going to be sort of going against a lot of the things that Frank Sheeran said in the book, I Heard You's Paint Houses. Do you know what this comment's referring to?
The dishwasher after you drop by to say hello. Not exactly.
The Fosco.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
It's another one that Jared liked to talk to. I showed up where he worked and he took off out the back door.
Christ. What are these guys, man?
Yes, Maz boss, he is writing a book. It'll be out in July. I wanted an advance copy, but I don't think I'm going to get one.
Yeah, I fucking wanted one too. I couldn't get one.
So
I stopped by to ask Russ Jr. He said, "Nah, I can't." He said he got to wait till July.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would assume that largely he's probably going to do like an interview circuit, but I was told specifically that he will not deal with anybody of the YouTube stuff because I guess he doesn't like what he sees as far as like the informant type of shit.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see if anybody comes out of the woodwork to like try to go after him. But I mean, the guy's retired, so it's like we can argue the validity of whether or not he should be writing a book or not. But like, that's what I always try to tell people is like, you can't have a viewpoint like you're in the mafia. Like, mob guys aren't going to like that, but that's them. We're us. So there's a difference.
But there's no mob here anymore.
So
it's not like this is an active area or he's active. Like he's not going to hurt anyone. This is done here.
So here's the thing about Billy. A lot of people say he cooperated, but the truth of the matter is DeNaples, right, Chris? That's the guy's last name.
Yeah, Louis DeNaples.
Louis DeNaples was in a jam and in a situation. Billy got caught up in a situation, but DeNaples knew that once it came to his trial, if I'm getting this right, that he knew it would be thrown out because it was just junk. So he told Billy, go ahead and say whatever you want, because even whatever you say, they can't use against me anyway. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's like, technically, I don't consider that a rat. Because listen, I could just tell people this. I don't give a fuck. People know where I live. Russell Buffalino lives right down the road from me. Okay. Or where he, used to live for over 30 years. So I live in the area, and I knew people connected with Billy who, in fact, I know is godson, but where Billy, exactly what you said, did not just go out and do this, where he actually spoke with Louis DeNaples, and Louis DeNaples emphatically told him, say what you need to say. They can't do anything to me. Use my name if it helps yourself. He was not, and that's what he did. Moz Boss, no, he was not involved in that whatsoever. I got to address this because this is a bad rumor. I don't know if he helped put him away, but there were two. I'm from Luzerne County. There are two very, very corrupt judges here. Thank God they were caught. They were basically taking kickbacks to put juveniles away in this new detention center that was built. And through some kind of connections, this is not a big area. It's a small area. It's not a big city. I guess Billy D'Elia knew one of these judges or whatever, and I guess had breakfast with him a little bit. He had nothing to do. Billy D'Elia had nothing to do with those judges or what they did. He had nothing to do with it. He had no involvement either way. He just happened to know him a little bit. That was all. As a lot of people did.
I have not heard of the Darkness Underneath podcast at all. I covered the DeMeo crew myself. So Billy D'Elia. Here, I'll write it in the chat.
The book's going to be called The Life We Chose. Yeah. The Life We Chose or The Life I Chose. I think it's The Life We Chose.
Vinny the Cheng would not be happy with Sammy Gravano going on YouTube. He's probably thinking, for Christ's sakes, you think he would have learned Tony Ducks and Ruggiero. He meant Ruggiero. Yeah, you would think, but that's just not. That's not what happens.
Yeah.
He cooperated in ratting out our father Sicca, for God's sake.
Well, nothing happened to him, though. I mean, nothing happened to that father Sicca. Nothing happened to Lou DeNaples. I mean, here's the funny thing with this thing with Lou DeNaples. So he wants to go invest in the casino, the Poconos. I don't know, was it Mount Airy or whatever the fuck it was. So he applies to be the main investor or whatever. They look into his background where he supposedly lied. He said he had no organized crime contacts. So these two big state police guys do this big investigation. This was in the book, the Quiet Dawn or whatever. And what was funny was these two. Now, for people that don't know, Lou DeNaples is a multi-millionaire, probably one of the richest guys in Pennsylvania. And these two state policemen, when they kept going for help to Harrisburg, this was at the time when Ed Rendell was the governor. And every time they went for help, Ed Rendell blocked them. So long story short, what ended up happening, from my understanding, is they simply just put the casino in Lou DeNaples' daughter's name, and that was that. But I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he might be, JJ. He might. The guy fucking owns everything. Landfill.
Jimmy the Gent is not joking about this. He's not joking. Anthony Center still claims that. Absolutely. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at more stuff about Billy D'Elia, and I'm going to check some things, that areas that most people can't check, and I've never found anything. It's just one of those things. Some people say he didn't. Some people said he did. Maz Boss says, what about the Woodlands? Lou DeNaples had auto parts. I think he was with Erie Presnate.
Priet. Ernie Priet was he was a politician. I think that's who you're referring to, Ernie Priet. He was a politician up here. Woodlands is still around. Woodlands used to be, for the longest time, it's a nightclub. It used to be the number one seller of alcohol in Pennsylvania. Sold the most alcohol every year. I don't think it is anymore. I'm pretty sure it's not, but it's still around. Really nice place to go to. But yeah.
Sorry, I'm just.
No, it's fine. I was thinking about something else I was going to say. I lost my train of thought, but.
Let's see.
Oh, so here's what I was going to say. That was kind of funny. So our area, Luzerne County, we got a pretty bad, even before the fucking corrupt scumbag judges, we got a pretty bad reputation of just corruption from back in the day. Dan Flood, the old congressman, who was very corrupt. So I knew, I'm going back 20 some years. I was working, a person I was working with, one of their good friends was around, and this person was just retired, supposedly as like an FBI agent, and nothing law enforcement or whatever. It was just education stuff I was doing. And person said that in her entire career, that according to the FBI at the time, Luzerne County was the second most corrupt county in the entire East Coast. Miami-Dade County was one. I don't think it's that anymore, but it definitely had a reputation going back for a while.
So this is a question I get asked all the time, and I never really have sort of an answer for it. Have you ever considered having a get-together with some of your fans to talk mob stuff and have some laughs? Well, actually, I've been talking with, believe it or not, Maz Boss about this, about having like a meet and greet weekend kind of deal with cigars and dinner and stories and guests and stuff like that. But the reality of that is the Jared Hams of the world.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have nuts that try to show up and want to screw with what you're trying to do, which I would take care of that by bringing people they wouldn't really want to mess with there. But does anybody really want to do that, though? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what would be I don't know if we would get enough people that were interested in doing that. Where would we do it in Atlantic City or Margate or New York City? I mean, something like that.
I mean, besides the putting the assholes aside that you'd have to worry about, I mean, just pick a neutral place, Jersey, New York, somewhere easy to get to, a nice little bar, club, whatever, and just, a couple of guys sitting, chilling, having a good time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about doing something where it was like dinner and like open bar for an hour and like just hanging out and shooting. Like for those that don't know me, I'm very like amicable. Like I'm friendly, approachable, and stuff like that. So I just don't know what everybody would want to do. And if enough people say 50 people said, oh, I definitely want to do this, I'll come and do that, then I would do it.
I think you get a good showing. Harry Anderson says, "Do it at the Oregon Diner."
Yeah, that would go over well.
But you see, that's the thing. You overthink things. You don't have to worry about what people are doing. It would just be people getting together, having a drink. People are going to take care of themselves. It would just be.
Well, yeah, but I was thinking to bring in somebody that maybe people have heard about that isn't an informant that could talk about a former life who was never.
Oh, yeah. I mean, whatever.
But I don't know what everybody would want to do because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I've always wanted to go to New York," but that's not like the most feasible place to go to in the world. Like, I would love to do something where I go to like Florida or I go Florida, Jersey, somewhere else, but I just don't know what people would want to do.
Or Olive Garden.
Look, there he goes. We have the mansion and we can stay on the 3rd floor. All right. If that's the deal, Maz Boss, then so I'm not going to get into Maz Boss's business or anything, but there is a big mansion, a monster mansion. And when I say monster, I mean, ooh, spooky. Where I was thinking a while back, we could have like people come to the mansion for a night or two where there's a nice lunch. Maybe Maz Boss could teach some make out of mozzarella. Just talk about sort of organized crime in a way that's more like over dinner versus like this me with a microphone bullshit. Yeah, I know.
Sounds good to me.
I know you go, but I don't think you could invite the friends you want to invite. You know what I mean? Don't say nothing, but you know what I mean. But no, if that's something that people would, honest to God, be interested in, I would do it. So
I think they'd be interested.
What would we have to? Hey, Maz Boss, how much would we have to charge for that?
Could you drop the link for him to come in? Would he be willing to?
He's not. You know.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, bud. If Maz Boss.
No, what he'll do is he'll wait till this is over and he'll start buzzing me on Instagram. He's not. He's a smart guy. He's not. Listen, there's an old saying: the boss never wants to be seen. You know what I mean?
I got you.
But no, we could definitely do something. I just don't know what people would want to do. I'm not that exciting to hang out with. I don't. Like, other than just talk about organized crime and like shoot the shit, they can see I'm a normal guy and not some fucking nutcase.
He goes, I'm half asleep.
Huh?
He said, I'm half asleep.
Who is Maz Boss?
Yeah.
He works. This guy works his ass off. God bless him. Maz Boss, I'll talk to you tomorrow and this weekend about that. We'll figure out something. If we
can do it, Maz Boss. I'm always trying to get this fucking guy to do something.
If we, Maz Boss, if we can get a decent like pricing on it and people will come to Jersey or whatever, we'll do it. We'll just book.
I think Jersey's an ideal spot because it's easier to get to.
Oh, it's a beautiful home too. It's creepy, but it's beautiful. Looks like something out of the fucking Munsters family. It does, but it's like shit I love. But I think that would be cool. Like, we'll have to vet some people to make sure they're not lunatics. But
so check this out. Like, if this is an actual person's home, okay, I think that would keep away assholes from coming because they're less likely to come into a person's personal home than they would if you're like a Mobtron thing at Atlantic City or like
that would be the wrong place to,
That's what I'm saying. People aren't going to come into a guy's personal home and as a troll.
Yeah, I mean, if we could do something where we like get 6 or 7, 8 people.
Yeah.
And we could talk about the mob all weekend, hang out, play some bocce or something. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I would have a good time. Somebody just sent me a message and said, "You look fantastic, Spiffy."
You look what?
Nothing. Forget it. It's an inside thing.
Oh.
It's an
I heard the Spiffy, so I could imagine who it's coming from. But
yeah, but Mutt's boss, you got all the connects. You know the person. We'll make it worth their while. Even if I have to fucking pay out of pocket, I'll do it.
You ever hear this guy work with is talking about going to, I don't know where the fuck he's going, but he likes all the like that hard shit like Bigfoot, Loch Ness, and he calls it encryptic. He's like, I like encryptics. What the fuck is that?
He meant cryptids.
Whatever.
What he means by that is like Loch Ness, Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil, Yeah,
That's what he was saying. He goes all these different
Yeah.
places, and where he's going to West Virginia for some fucking.
Oh God, he's going for Mothman.
That's what he said. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he goes and he gets a tattoo of each place he goes.
Mothman. No, thank you.
Yeah.
First of all, West Virginia, been there, done that. No, thank you. Second of all, I'm not going out in the middle of the woods looking for a huge 12-foot winged bipedal creature when there's people that are cousin bumping there. You know what I mean? But I am
Harry,
going
I don't underestimate these idiots. I just don't give a fuck. I mean, they
get back to the horror stuff.
Bullshit.
So let me give everybody an update on the filmmaking stuff. So for those that know and those that don't know, we're starting a production company, and I've been waiting for this fucking memory card that cost me like $1,000 for like a month. So I'm behind where I want to be. But you're looking at one of my production assistants on the screen. So therefore, there will be stuff coming soon. I don't know how soon, but soonish. I don't know. Once I get it, we're ready to roll. We're straight. We're ready to go. And I just need to write some stuff. But we're going to cover like some mob haunts. I am this close from getting what Harry Anderson wants. And I don't know if you're going to be willing to do it.
What is it? I guess you can't say.
Lounge.
Oh, yeah. I don't give a fuck.
Good. So you'll hold my hand?
I mean, listen, the place is a church now, so we should be good. If that place could make it through all those
watch those ghost hunting things, those fucking things come back with you. Fuck that shit. Listen, nobody ever says, oh, a ghost made love to me. No, a ghost always has to rape and do crazy shit. You ever notice crazy people when they do horrible shit, don't do normal shit? Like the voice in the head never tells them, go to Wendy's and take a shit on the salad bar. No, it walk into a church and kill 100 people with a fucking pickaxe. It's odd to me. It's odd to me.
Maybe there's some good ghosts, you know what I mean? Like just trying to say hi, you know what I mean? A lost soul.
Did you ever hear the story about the lady who married the ghost pirate?
No.
And she said she got knocked up by the ghost pirate. She was on national television saying that a ghost pirate knocked her up, then cheated on her with another ghost, so she divorced him.
Wow.
Now, this is a person who had children, and the court didn't see there was anything wrong with that. To me, if I'm like the ex-husband, I'm like, you don't consider that being a little odd? Not a problem with that? I'm serious. If you guys don't, you know what, Chris, we'll get some comments. I'm going to see if I can pull this shit up.
I didn't see that today, but I heard a guy fucking discussing like people marrying fucking animals. Wonder how Tommy Karate's doing.
He's doing well from what I understand.
He's probably in good shape.
Now, for those that think I'm bullshitting about this, you guys are going to, oh, come on. Don't do that, you fuckless fuck. Look at this headline. You're going to love it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Look at her. Look at her. Getting married to the invisible specter. What the fuck is wrong? Look at this. Oh, look. He just so happens to look like Johnny Depp. Imagine that shit. Fuck out of here. These people.
Maybe you should just show him the pirate.
People are out of their
picture to symbolize a pirate. I don't know, man.
All right, Brooklyn. Thank you. Oh, so here's the look, steel dildo. That's one of my favorites. And I know why he's saying that. That's right. So here's the other thing. And here's the last thing I'm going to say. I don't do drama on this channel. I don't want to do drama. I don't care if they hold up photos of me saying I'm an aborted fetus of an elephant. I'm not responding anymore, not doing nothing. This is what I want to do. Talk about, look at that. Oh, this is fantastic. Saturday night, 9:00, we are going to do a live. I am going to tier this with a topic, but we're also going to play sort of a game. where remember how we used to do the Facebook stuff where I would say, okay, you've got 5 crime families. What are your rackets?
I want you to bring that back, man. That was really fun.
Because as those of you may or may not know, I'm taking a week off the paid podcast this week. So therefore, Saturday night, 9:00, I may change it to Sunday, but you'll know by like Thursday afternoon. We will do a show where we'll have a topic. We'll talk about the topic for 45 minutes, and then we'll bring everybody on. And we encourage everybody to come on the show and have a conversation. Sound good to you? Are you available, Chris? Are you going to be out?
Yeah, because my life's so fucking entertaining. I got so.
Well, I don't know. Earlier you said you might skedaddle, so.
Oh yeah, I'll probably be around.
All right. Well, we could definitely do that. Let me just check the chat a couple of times. What would your feelings be if somebody made a 5-part documentary on the West East? You feel it would be received well? Listen, I think if anybody does anything and they stick close to history, and then when they get to the historical aspects of something that could be a little interpreted, give people both sides. That's it. Give them both sides and let the audience decide. The only problem I have is with things that are just like totally fucking retarded and don't make any sense. Look at Ma's boss trying to build up business in my fucking chat. Anybody going down to the store?
That's right.
Let me use my Philly. Anybody going down to the shore? Anybody gone down to the shore? I know lots of people that are at the shore. Anytime you get a thought about replying to these goons, just put the effort into the horror stuff. Well, the horror stuff is coming too. That's another reason why I took a week off, because I want to finish up some horror stuff. And that's fun to talk about. I know, Chris, you're not a huge fan of the horror stuff, but.
No, I just don't have much to add to it. I listen to it, but I just don't really have the knowledge of like you and others to like really add to the conversation.
You know, still to this day, that Loch Ness Monster video gets a ton of hits.
Really?
And you know why? You know why? It's because of that end video. Nobody can figure out what the fuck that thing is in the water. I knew it would play that way too. I am not going to forget Ed Gein Part 2. As a matter of fact, look, just to show you that I've been thinking about it. Well, you're not going to be able to. I don't know what. Oh, there we go. This is the confession stuff. So I have been looking at it. It's ready to roll, and it's disgusting. Like questions about, so Ed, why 26 nipples on the belt and not just 5?
God.
And then there's a lot of stuff in the confession where he talks about, I think what I really take from it, and I think what people will, maybe that's what we'll do this week too, is that I think he had that whole gender what do you call that? Gender dysmorphia.
Dysphoria or something like that.
Yeah, he didn't want a tinky. They asked him if he ever thought about cutting off his tinky, and he got pretty descriptive about that, which well, that's why I said when we do this part of the show of the 600-page admission confession, I can only read but like 15 pages because if I read the other pages, it's going to throw me off YouTube. Believe me, it's vulgar. You know, when he's talking about digging them up and having his way with them.
Moss Boss wants to go do a show in the Pine Barrens.
You know what?
That's a good idea.
You want to. So
you're gonna tell a story again.
I don't know if I want to even, because there's 2 stories I could tell. One, that was Joey Merlino's nickname on his Wi-Fi, Pine Barrens, which is funny.
Yeah.
Right. And there's also the story of Elio getting lost in the middle of the woods, thinking he saw Hitler, and started screaming while he's running out of the woods, "Fucking Hitler! Fucking Hitler's chasing me!" And it was like a Rob Royce fucking old fucking billboard. We could do that. We can go into the Pine Barrens, Maz Boss. We could take our camera too. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Maz Boss has to wear overalls though, and a straw hat, and have a pitchfork, and make nonstop jokes about horses and Nicky Scarfo. I thought the 60 Minutes with Gaspipe was hilarious.
That was funny.
I laughed hard as fuck. It's like, well, you know, would you say you shot him a few times? Well, you know, maybe 9. Well, it was 16. Well, yeah, maybe 16. Oh my
Maybe we could take your friend Frankie out to the Pine Barrens. Or we could do a live video out on his boat.
Are you talking about serial killer Frankie?
Yeah.
Listen,
Not that he would allow it.
every time I see Frankie, because I got his number, I can call him anytime I want. Every time he's like, hey, Bo, why don't you call me no more, Baba? You're in town, I hear you here, and then you go. I want to take you out on my boat. And I always say, Frankie, you're always drunk. What happens if the boat, I said this before, what happens if the boat fucking runs out of gas? We swim to shore. I'm like, Frank, it's like 20 miles. The sharks won't eat us. And besides, we have Elio, they'll eat him first.
We'll throw Tubby in.
I'm like, he's like, of course, fish hooks in his back. He'll bleed like a stuck pig. We'll have plenty of time. It's like, God damn. You know, when I drive back to New York, Bo, it only takes me an hour. How long does it take you to get back, Jeff? 6.5. He looks at me like he can't figure it out. Because Frankie is really big on maps and getting places.
Yeah, you said directions and stuff.
Yeah, he likes to tell you the short route to go. He's always got a better way than you.
Dude, he put me on the spot like he thought I was lying to him or something. He was, like Binghamton's like, I don't know, 45 minutes north of me. So if you're coming from Philly, Binghamton's past where I live. So yeah, he's like, how many miles is it to like where to get to your house? So I don't know, about 120 or something like that. He looks at me like real serious. He goes, well, Binghamton's only 100.
He did that with Elio with a parking ticket for 6 months.
A parking
He got a parking ticket. He was furious about it because Elio's an attorney. He was like, hey, Bo, explain to me this. And he goes through like 16 different scenarios that he could have possibly gotten this parking ticket. I'm not saying I got one, but if I did and I didn't pay it. And like Elio's just telling him, just pay the goddamn ticket, Frank. Well, you've got more money than you need. He's like, that's not the point. But that's Frank. That's Frank. Frank saved my life one night, believe it or not. The night you were there. I don't know if you know that.
No.
I was a little upset about something, and you knew what it was. And I kind of made a comment outside of my mouth, and he heard me. He reached over with his hand. He put it under my rib, and he pulled up, and he goes, hey, Bo, don't say that. We're going to have problems if anybody hears that. It's like, all right, because I know you're just blowing off steam, but just that motherfucker lifted underneath my ribs. It was lifting. I don't know how he did that. Oh, my God. He got my attention immediately.
Yeah, that could hurt.
Anyway, how was work today?
Usual, same old bull crap, I think we're going to be gearing up for dodgeball soon.
Oh, yeah, that's exciting.
Oh my God, you have no idea the shit I fucking see and go through in that place.
All right, we can have a weekly show with a new camera and smoke tons of cigars in the Pine Barrens.
There you go.
Yeah, Mazboss, it always includes cigars and getting lost in a horrible place where people go missing. That's great, Mazboss. I'm starting to wonder about you.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I've asked you this a few times,
Sure.
and it seems like whatever you're researching at the time that gets your attention the most. In all your years of your research with MTR, if you go back and really think, what is the most interesting, intriguing thing you ever found that you actually maybe didn't know that was really interesting to you?
I probably remotely was how deep Greg Scarpa's 302s were.
Yeah, you're saying that was crazy.
Even the book, The Devil with the Deal with the Devil, doesn't even go into a quarter of what he told. And I don't think a lot of people understood that this began like almost immediately. Like this wasn't, he was in the organized crime for 20 years and decided to start, dropping stuff. He almost from day one was giving information to the feds. And it was like a big time shit. Whether or not that was more circumstantial and sort of third, fourth, fifth party information, but it was still kind of stunning to me.
Yeah.
Because at the time, not to go back into the details, but at the time he had claimed he was a captain and he wasn't. He was just an associate, but he told the FBI he was a captain, which would lead them to believe that he had access to the certain type of information he was
So
giving.
he was smart for setting it up that way.
Completely smart for doing it that way, and for hustling the amount of money. But the reality is when you understand organized crime, you know that he wouldn't really be privy to that.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to. That's where my mind gets blown, because I'm like, how could they believe that?
Right.
Like, not that the FBI is smart to begin with.
We got to remember back in the day, if this is, when was this, the 70s? Around?
It started in the 50s.
Yeah. So, this is when they kind of were, even though they knew, kind of first learning about the mob and the FBI discovering it. You know what I mean? Today, an FBI guy might realize an associate might not be privy to information of higher up administration, but back then, maybe they just didn't know.
Well, that's what most of us think, and that's the way I kind of went into it. But then when you see that they couldn't even cross-reference the information, because that's sort of the trick to reading 302s and investigating who's telling what, is usually at some point within a year or two, it'll cross-reference to some point in time where there'll be somebody else that'll say something very similar. And then you go, okay, that's probably pretty close to what happened. But nothing he ever said was cross-referenced. Nothing, which is crazy.
It's another big one there.
What about the Gambinos financing South American drug trade? That was, Harry's right. That's probably really the biggest one. I had no idea that Carlo Gambino was involved in that until I started doing all that research. And then I find out that he buys a plot of land halfway between Colombia and Argentina, specifically for narcotics trafficking. They were the first ones to put in sort of the airstrip.
Who are the other bosses? But weren't there some other bosses involved?
There were. Buffalino was one too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't say that. Wow.
Yeah. There was a couple of them because it was a big land deal, huge land deal. There was a bunch of people that were involved in that, but it was really kind of Gambino's. The bulk of the money was his, but everybody kind of, everybody wants to throw their 20% in because the kickback's going to be huge.
You know what the most intriguing thing was I heard you say, and this was years ago. And since then, I've asked you about it, and it kind of didn't change, but you went from saying a person to more of a commission decision, was that you once said that you got information, I don't know if it's from a person or research, that it was Buffalino that actually was the one behind the main order to have Giancana killed. Mm-hmm. That was really shocking to me.
You know what I read today? I was just kind of bored and I was scanning through something, and somebody actually posted that Tony Accardo retired and put Sam Giancana in control. That's not true. 100% not true. He put Giancana out as his front boss, and Giancana still had to pass everything that Giancana did had to be green lit. But no, it was Buffalino who made that call. But when I say that, it doesn't mean that Buffalino said he dies, and I don't care what any of you say. He's the delivery guy, because it had already been talked about. It turns out that there was a big meeting here in New York before all of that happened too.
Well, that had to probably go through a Accardo to be okayed, right?
Of course. Ultimately, at the end of the day, let's see. Scarpa ratted before Valachi. That is true. Do you think RICO laws resulted in way more ratting? Probably the biggest reason for downsizing of mob members. I don't know if it's necessarily RICO or if it's the penalties against informants stopped being. Because a long time ago, first of all, back in the days, you didn't have to do 85% of your fed time. Okay. Those rules all changed in the 80s and 90s. Then it went up to 85% of the time. In the old days, a rat would give up information and they'd get everything they wanted. The problem is becoming an informant has become so relatively easy. And also when you look at RICO predicates, RICO acts, RICO trials, let me give you this point to make it more clear. If this is a state case, okay, and I'm accused of something, it's a lot harder for the state to prove I did that than it is at the federal level. The federal level, they only have to have enough evidence just to suggest you did it, whereas in state, they really kind of got to nail you. They got to have your fingerprints. They got to have your DNA. They got to have witnesses. They've got to have surveillance. So there's more predicates for proving your guilt at a state level than at the federal level.
You think it would be similar all the way around, you know?
Well, in a perfect world, it would be, but it's at the federal level, it's a crime against the United States of America, not Jim Bob's sweatshop.
Right. That's crazy.
And I think, too, when you add to the point that when informants sign up to cooperate, they know they're going to get XYZ. They're not going to do practically any time whatsoever. But the biggest thing is that they know they're not going to be cross-examined. They may be, and when I say that, I mean, they are cross-examined, but not to the extent that the defendant is. Good case in point, Joey Merlino at his trial. They wanted to talk about every murder he allegedly committed or was involved in or accused of, but never convicted of, right? Same thing with Stevie Mazzone. God bless that guy. At his fucking sentencing, they bring up every motherfucking thing he was ever accused of, even if he was acquitted. And they used that in the penalty phase. However, in Joey Merlino's case, they could not go after the informant who had on a jailhouse conversation, which one, he wasn't supposed to have a phone, but he did. But two, he's on a jailhouse phone saying he's blackmailing the FBI. He's beating up this girl. He's sleeping with that girl, all things he was not supposed to do. For 98 of 114 days, he was not under FBI supervision. Mm-hmm. But yet you can't bring that, for whatever reason, the judges have the oversight to allow and dismiss whatever points. He was on phone saying, it's all Joey Merlino's fault that I'm in trouble. But the reality is he got caught selling narcotics, which got him pinched. And then he doesn't want to go to jail for that. So he offers a way to try to get Joey entrapped. But they also aren't allowed to bring in that he's on the phone saying, I got to deal with George Anastasia. We're going to sell 100 books. I'm going to try to get Joey as many years as I can. Fuck him.
Well, you know, you would think a judge that truly wants to be fair and impartial would allow both sides to show, you know.
You would think.
I mean, that's just a judge thing. It's just a wrong decision by a judge. Maybe another judge would. Who knows? I don't know.
I think there are other judges that would allow something like that. But I've always had this philosophy: good, bad, and indifferent. Okay, if I'm guilty of something, fine. If you're guilty of something, fine. None of us on earth are innocent. We've all done bad things. There's not a cop who hasn't done a bad thing. Not a judge who hasn't done a bad thing. It's just nature, right? But my thing is if the prosecution or the federal government is going to be able to impugn my character based on the words of another human being who has every sort of initiative to sway a jury his direction because he doesn't want to go to jail. So he's going to inflate the story, make it a little bigger, make it a little juicier. If they have the right to impugn my character, why can't they impugn his?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
With it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's one thing to, you know, just hearsay talk about rip into a person's character or what you think their reputation is. But if you're stating facts of who they were, and this is why you're saying it, I mean, facts should be allowed in a case. You know, it's.
Well, maybe to a judge, it seems like too gossipy. We don't want to get into the drama of it all. But I'm sorry, but a guy saying that, fuck him, I'm going to say whatever I can to get him the most time because I want to sell books. I hope he gets 100 fucking years.
I mean, that's very credible.
That kind of shows a propensity to maybe be willing to lie. And then when you add that to the fact that he lied, he deleted wiretaps, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
That's
huge. I mean, you're admitting you're looking to do whatever you could to sell books to make money.
Yes.
You're deleting fucking wiretap conversations. How could you not allow that?
94 of 114 days he was not under the supervision of the FBI, broke a dozen laws, committed multiple crimes while under the FBI's nose.
What happened with that? Did Joey fight that?
I'm going to tell you. So then after that, he goes on the podcast and then he admits that he framed a guy for arson, a 75-year-old guy for arson. to give more information to the feds. Why don't they bring that back to court and say, you just said on a podcast that you fucking committed perjury? They don't bring that back to court. So what does the judge do after all of that? Hammers him with more supervised parole. That's it. He's not supposed to be gambling. He's showing money. He's gambling all over the internet. So if you're not going to hold the cooperators, see, and this is what I find the hypocrisy, okay? If my friend Anger Management, you know who I'm talking about? My buddy who's away.
Yeah.
When he gets out, he cannot be around any known felons. That's a part of his parole and et cetera, et cetera. But if he goes around one motherfucker, they're going to put him back in. And you know that. But a rat can do 50 things and they do nothing. Look at the case of Gene Morello right now. How many fucking times has he continued to break the fucking law? Threatening to kill, showing up at his fucking his ex-girlfriend's house trying to murder her father. At what point do you just say this motherfucker's lost? He's got to be in a cage. So that's why you have such a loathing of informants, because it's not fair and balanced. And listen, I am not saying everybody's innocent. But what I'm saying is, to be fair, if you're going to impugn my character, I should be allowed to impugn yours. If you're accusing me of being violent based on allegations, even though I was acquitted, why can I not bring up that you beat your wife 6 days from Sunday 5 times while you've been under FBI protection?
Yeah, true.
That's my whole point.
No, it's a valid point. I mean, it's a very valid point. I mean, I think there would have to be certain judges that would allow that. Especially
the problem is at the end of the day, the government cares so much about their target that they're willing to put up with and negotiate with the lowest slime bags ever. Sammy Gravano murdered a 17-year-old child. For a decade, nobody knew who did it. And the newspapers had to put that he was an unidentified victim. And the reason why they had to do that was, number one, if you're a minor, they can't put your name in the paper. Number two, if the FBI told the newspaper he killed a child, forget about it. The juries would have gone crazy. So the FBI did not want that out, because how the fuck, it's one thing, me and John Gotti bounced around, he barked, I bet, all that bullshit that Gravano spews. I killed this one, I killed that one, I killed this one. Try telling a jury you murdered a 16-year-old child.
Yeah, and your credibility.
How can you explain that? That is not code of the streets. That's punk shit.
See, what I was saying isn't so much of the government's bullshit, the feds. I'm just saying the judge himself, if the judge is neutral, they should allow this both sides. But I don't know.
Listen, I see your point, but imagine me, who was at, I think, every day at the Merlino trial, sitting with all the guys. And like, you got to hear about this one saying, oh, Joey was having an affair with this one or that one. How is that fucking relevant to racketeering?
It's not.
It's a personal shot. And the judge doesn't say, strike that off the record. Doesn't say a fucking word.
Yeah, that's not right, man. I mean, it's...
It just really comes down to the government. Like, I think Chris the cop says they have. I think it was him who said they have too much latitude. Too much latitude. And listen, it's not about.
But a fair trial, the defense should be given the same latitude.
Right, and tapes. If you're going to play tapes of me talking to XYZ, and you're going to try to interpret that as mob code for XY. Listen, and I'll say this, and then we'll wrap it up for the night. My friend who's in prison, okay? Yeah. He got a call to go meet a guy down in the corner, okay? It was the middle of the night. He was exhausted. He thought there was a problem. And this is not like a Jeff's coding mob mentality or behavior. This legitimately would happen. He gets up. It's dark as fuck in his house. He's not paying attention. He starts throwing on his shirt. He thinks something's wrong with a friend. He puts on 2 different colored shoes, not realizing because it's dark in the house. Gets in the car, goes down, drives to the corner, gets out. Turns out the people he's going to see are all taped up, wired up. He gets out of the car and says, what the fuck? But when he says it, it's like, fuck. It came out sideways. The Fed said, "Where's my meth?"
Oh God, I remember you saying this.
This is a guy who didn't know what meth was, didn't sell drugs, isn't around drugs. That's not his.
Saying this.
But then they look at him. He's all disheveled. He's wearing a shirt, his two different shoes. So they think he's a meth head now. And so he told me when they arrested me, he goes, they put me in the pen and I'm sitting there waiting. And they're going, oh, narcotics trafficking. He goes, the fuck are you talking about? And they play a tape. He goes, you just said meth. He goes, meth, fuck you and your meth. I never said meth.
How could they arrest him? Even if he did, how could they arrest him? Like, no money? You have to have money. I mean, even if it wasn't, I mean, I know it's not, even if it was a drug deal, doesn't money have to exchange hands?
So let me tell you what happened.
That's crazy.
I don't know if he's going to get mad at me, but his brother got charged with extortion and loan sharking. Both of them did. Okay. This is what happened. A guy owed my friend money.
I remember you telling me.
It was just a personal loan. And I just want to explain to the people in the chat.
Yeah,
it was literally a personal loan. The guy comes in, the fucker he brings is wearing a wire. And the guy goes, oh, here's the money for your brother that I owe. And my friend says, the fuck you talking, my brother? You don't know my brother. This is my money. All because he said your brother, and your brother's an alleged underboss of a crime family. Oh, racketeering, loan sharking, and extortion, just like that. Fucking Snoopy did nothing wrong. He got convicted of shit he didn't even do because of his reputation, his past, some stupid tape where, I mean, it's so stupid. Because here's my theory. If we're all in organized crime, right, Chris, and I order you, stay the motherfucker out of fucking Atlantic City, and you say, I got it, boss, I got it, whatever, then you decide on your own, fuck him, I do whatever I want. Then you kind of got to throw out this whole idea that there's a mafia hierarchy. Because if the government is going to say, you have to do what you're told or else they'll kill you. Obviously not.
Yeah, another thing that was fishy to me is with Phil's case, with the terrorists or whatever, like, didn't his wife, don't they have a legit loan company?
Okay, yeah. So my buddy Phil Narducci, who I love.
That's fucked up.
His wife, Gina, had a legit lending company, like a Payday Loans.
Yeah.
Okay? Guy comes in, gives a sob story. Oh, my wife, she's got, or my mother, she's got stomach cancer. She's got this. Her ass is falling on the floor. I need money so bad, money so bad. So what do? They do the right thing. He signs a bunch of paperwork. It's all notarized and legit.
Yeah.
Guy stops paying. Phil's wife, I believe, talked to him, and he gave her the runaround. Well, being the husband, you love your wife, you're going to call and say, what the fuck is your problem? Phil calls, and all he says is, what the fuck is your problem? Why are you disrespecting my wife? Then somebody Phil knew got upset and went and said something in person of, what the fuck are you doing? You don't take money from people and not pay them back. Then the guy that borrowed the money realizes who Phil is or who Phil was in the day. Now he tells the FBI he's a terrorist. He's here on an unexpired visa. He was sentenced to death in Lebanon for being Hezbollah terrorist. And he's been doing this all over the city to a lot of people, stealing money from him because he's a degenerate gambler, a drug dealer, and he was getting money for doing homosexual things and whatever. And so imagine the look on Phil's face at 5 o'clock in the morning when the FBI kicks in his door, say loan sharking and extortion. What?
Yeah.
That's how it works. But he won that case.
Like, it's one thing for them to try to twist it into extortion, like trying to say there was a threat. But how could you get charged with loan sharking when it's a legitimate loan from a legitimate business?
The feds tried to say that it was notarized after the fact, but what they don't realize is that Gina had filed a lawsuit to get her money back before Phil got arrested. So if you're a gangster, all right, and you're loan sharking, let's just play that out for a minute. Don't you think Phil would have thrown his fucking head, thrown his body through a tube?
Yeah, you're not fucking. Yeah, you're not going that route with paperwork.
Take him to court because you know what? There's a truth. Gangsters don't sue gangsters. That's not how this works. How it works is a guy knocks on your door and introduces you to the ass end of a camel, and not the fun way.
That's
and then the FBI wanted to suppress all of the shit about this terrorist. They wanted to suppress that. And the judge said, yep, we'll suppress that. And then guess what happened? Canarsie comes to the ring and he outs fucking rat everyone.
And then these fucking idiots who were talking about in the beginning think you just happened to go in there and said hi to Phil just so you can say you know him. I mean, you helped that guy out of a huge jam.
He would have gone to prison the rest of his life.
Yeah. That's another thing. This Joe Batter has no clue what you did.
Phil did nothing wrong. I did it on myself. I could have gone to prison for what I did. They served a search warrant, with search and seizure for all my electronics because they somehow thought Phil was involved in that, but he wasn't. It was all me. And every time I see him, you know what he says? He gives me a hug, gives me a kiss on my cheek, goes, "Thank you. You have no idea what you did for me. You were a stand-up guy."
You know, when I met him that one time, not with you, but it was like before that, and he was even like talking out about a little bit. I introduced myself to him, and he was saying about two things he said. One was funny as shit, but he was talking about the terrorists. Like, he's like, don't you guys want to know this? If he's like the FBI, like, right. Are you interested to know if this guy's a terrorist?
Right.
And he was like, and the other thing he said, I'm watching a fucking Notre Dame football game. Of course, I got some money on it. I'm getting killed. And I said something about Notre Dame. And he's like, I hated those fucking guys ever since fucking Blakely. Ever since that fucking Blakely guy. Is that his name? The RICO? He goes, I hated those fuckers ever since Robert Blakely.
You know what is funny? It's a lot of the people that listen to my show, they'll be like, hey, I'm going to go to Philly. Where should I eat? And I always tell them, go stop into Phil's. It's like a microbrewery. You'll have a good time. Yeah. And every single one of them, and it must get annoying to him. And I haven't asked him, but it's got to get annoying to him. It was just his wife's birthday the other day, and I sent her a happy birthday thing. And I meant to ask him, does it ever get annoying? Because these people just don't walk in there and eat. They walk up to him and go, I know Jeff Canarsie. And every single one of those people said he always smiles and he gives them a free drink every time. You're a friend of Jeff, you're with us. And it's like, to me, I didn't do anything for him.
Yeah, you did.
Anybody else wouldn't do. Yeah. But I kind of get the feeling with him that a lot in his life, people didn't do that.
Yeah, well,
I would do it again tomorrow.
You really went to bat for that guy. I mean, it's big time, the shit you helped him out of.
I was prepared to go to jail.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go, but I would have gone. I would do something. Because I talked to my lawyer, and he says, we can't really use freedom of the press because you're not a journalist. So he says, you can't stand behind that. So we'll just, if they pick you up, if they find out where you're at, just the fifth, don't utter a fucking word. They can't make you say anything.
And they never came to get you, I guess.
Well, they came, but
you
I was here, and nothing that they were looking for was here. No. You know why? Because every once in a while, something really strange happens in my life. I get a phone call. And I say, you know what? Maybe you should go on a vacation. I think it's a good time. It's like, you know what? I'm feeling like the beach. Yeah.
And on your way, some electrical stuff falls off the back of a trunk.
Oh, no, that shit fell in the river. I won't even hesitate to say it. What are they going to do now? John Hahn still wants me in jail. That fucker hates me. The U.S. prosecution attorney, and I know he must have fucking nightmares about me at night. This little shit, you know why? Because when they
think about it, you're just an average citizen that destroyed this big case with the big bad feds against Phil, and here comes this average little citizen that just
blows their shit up. Well,
he fucking blew it up, man.
That's when they tried to label me an associated member, because that's their way now of saying, oh, well, just a friend of a guy who's not involved wouldn't do that, so he's got to be an associated member. And then they went so far into like other mob trials, especially Stevie's and Sonny's, and they don't put my name, but they reference the Phil Narducci trial and why they want shit sealed, because they knew that if I got that information, I was going to do the same goddamn thing. But you know what? I would have been smarter this time, and I would have done it from Costa Rica.
Hey, listen, one last thing before I go, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but something you mentioned that I know that I think will be hilarious, will be great. When are you gonna be able to tell the story about oh God, I can't even remember. Your Goodfellas story, I guess we could say.
Which one?
The
The actual Goodfellas story?
Henry Hill.
I don't know, because
All right.
the only reason
Dude, that's huge. That's fucking huge.
I don't think anybody knows that stuff. I wish my dad was still alive, because the look on his face is pretty priceless. I think Uncle Fester's got to be dead before I can ever tell that story.
Understood.
Because he would be the first one to ring my phone and say, "You fucking out of your mind? What are you going to tell that for? Trying to get everybody pinched?" Maybe I can find a way to tell it and just weave it in a way that's, so let's just say I had a dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
That's it. He doesn't listen. And the only thing I'll say is that prick doesn't have any clue how close he came.
That's
he has
crazy.
No clue how close he came to being killed.
Anybody that actually is.
Let's just say this.
Anybody listening to this long is probably saying, "What the fuck is this now?"
Jimmy Burke had a long reach from prison to a lot of people. And that was what people wanted done. And people wanted to know a local. Actually, I can kind of say a little bit, because most of the people involved are all dead now. But let's just say that they needed to find out his location. And his location was found. And it was within days. But he leaves for LA like 2 weeks later. So
sounds good, bud.
They'll say that's bullshit too, but maybe I have proof.
Listen, we brought 3 big receipts at least. There, we proved them wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, but go ahead, get out of here, Chris. And
all right, I'll talk to you in a little bit, whatever.
All right, buddy. Anyway, that's it. So I showed my face. We addressed some of the nonsense, and hopefully I didn't kill anybody with my stunning good looks this evening. And we'll see everybody Saturday night, 9:00, right here with the Big Mob Show. So thank you to all of you for coming in. Have a good weekend. It's Memorial Day. Be safe. Get a designated driver, if you please. Don't drive. Just don't drive drunk. It's not worth it. And we'll see everybody Saturday night, 9:00, right here.